Founded by three sitting TDs in July 2015, the Social Democrats had high hopes of a breakthrough in the last general election, especially since one of those TDs, Stephen Donnelly, made a splash with his performance in the television debate featuring all 7 party leaders in the Dáil. But the party came back with no more than the same 3 TDs who went into the election. Worse yet, Donnelly left the party in September 2016 and joined Fianna Fáil. The party has still refused to throw in the towel and rejects overtures from Labour to form some sort of alliance in the Dáil. The Social Democrats presently have a small office in West Side next to the Blue Note. The party's local politician Niall Ó Tuathail says that it was swiftly set up in preparation for what looked to be a Christmas 2017 election. I got to have a chat with Niall Ó Tuathail and he outlines the goals of the Social Democrats to me.
As a party we want to do 3 things. So first is we want a big investment in our public services. As Social Democrats, we kind of believe that the government should play a broad role in public services and providing the basic services that everyone needs. So ensuring there's affordable housing, making sure that people aren't bankrupt if they get sick, making sure that everyone has a decent education. So all of those kind of making sure there's affordable transport, and those kinds of basic public services that everyone needs to live, that the government plays a fairly broad role in doing them. Now, if we're going to do that, we need to do it efficiently. So, you also need to be able to balance the books, make sure there's a strong economy, that business is booming, that we can pay the taxes that's needed to support all that. As that's another big part of it, just around balancing the books and making sure the economy works. And then the third thing is around really opening up government and having much more openness and transparency in how we do business as a government, making sure that corruption is not tolerated and is prosecuted, and that there's a lot of openness around how government works. So that's another third part of it. And Ireland is kind of strange that we don't have a big centre-left party that does those things. So most other European countries do have a big centre-left party, and Ireland has never had that. And so we're trying to build that.
What are you and the Social Democrats doing to distinguish yourself from other left parties in Ireland?
I don't spend too much time trying to think about other parties. We're just thinking about what we want to do. So I mean, I think about why wasn't Labour able to build this, or why aren't the further left parties able to build it? There's a lot of work that goes into getting your message out there, and so you need to get out. You need to talk to 4 million people and say, tell people who the Social Democrats are, what they're about, and that takes a lot of work. It's not easy to build an organisation to do that. The vast majority of the work is getting out and having one-on-one conversations with people. So it's about knocking on someone's door on a Thursday evening and saying, hey, we're the Social Democrats, have you thought about us? Do you have any questions for us? Obviously social media is more and more important, so it's a very helpful way for us to get our message out there, and really to get people from kind of knowing about us to actively supporting us. So that's a big way where people can get more and more involved.
If there's one thing that you'd like to say to the students of NUIG, what would that be?
I think the first thing is that you are incredibly powerful and you don't know it. So even just making sure you're registered to vote and getting out and voting, it's that's an incredibly powerful thing. I think people I really don't like how, and I will never get into this thing about saying, oh, young people don't vote. Anyone who says that to me, I ask a politician, well, what do you do to inspire them to get out and vote? Because what's the difference? If I'm a 20-year-old student, what's the difference for me between any of the parties? I need to be so good and radical, and different, and positive, and speaking to what you want and need, that I need to encourage you to get out and vote. And then getting involved, if you really believe in a party or a person, and it doesn't have to be me, it can be anyone, get involved in the process. You've no idea how much a volunteer in a campaign makes a difference. We're about 1,500 votes short the last time in Galway West here. We're fairly, not very close, but not far away from getting elected. Another 10 volunteers would have been the difference between winning and losing. Yeah. So literally, you look at your group of friends, and if your group of friends decided to get involved in an election campaign, you can literally make the difference between who's going to win or lose in an election campaign. I ran Stephen Donnelly's election campaign in 2011, and he won by like 30 votes or something. So literally every single volunteer was the difference between winning or losing.
You mentioned Stephen Donnelly, and he famously transferred to Fianna Fáil, as I think that was painful for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was difficult. I mean, like Stephen's a friend of mine. It was hard for us as a party because obviously he's a fantastically talented person, and it was a pity to lose him. Like at the end of the day, like I just didn't like. I don't know if he believed that the party could grow to be like to lead a government, and that's the difference. I disagree. I think that we need to do that. I don't think that you can really change Ireland by going into Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael. I think there's a very I think the party's culture. It's nothing against it, because there's lots of great people in all the parties. But I think the party culture in Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael is very incremental. Like they just do bits and pieces here and there until we kind of break up this cartel of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Then those are Stephen's words. Nothing will change.
One thing that I feel a lot amongst my own friends on campus is a sense that the problems with Irish society are systemic, and that's the Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael method of approaching it as if it's an essentially functioning system that just needs some tweaks isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And I'm getting the impression that the Social Democrats is taking a very different tack.
Yeah, agreed. What we're trying to bring are big ideas that we know work from, say, the Scandinavian countries. Now, not that we're trying to just implement like policies from other places, because you can't do that. You have to do something for the Irish context. But we're trying to come up with big ideas that we know have worked in other places, that we know are going to improve people's lives and make sure there's a bit more fairness and equality, and that also can drive forward the economy. But we have to be ambitious for the country, and like we want to build a great place where everyone wants to live, where it's a safe place, where it's a loving place, and where we make big things happen.
Critics will continue to dismiss the Social Democrats as a rudderless ship that has lost its captain, but if Ó Tuathail builds some more support, it seems possible he can help to build Ireland's first successful centre-left party.